Hi students, welcome to Karthikeyan Academy. Today we are going to discuss about an important topic about fundamental duties. What is this fundamental duty? What is the basic difference between fundamental rights and fundamental duties? There is a lot of confusion between the aspirants. So what are these fundamental rights and what are these fundamental duties? Sometimes there is a concept called Directive Principle of State Policy, which is also known as DPSP. So in this session, we are completely discussing about the fundamental duties. So let us understand what is meant by fundamental duty. What exactly duty are talking about by the constitution. Then second topic is the differences between the fundamental rights and the fundamental duties. Very, very important. Then third topic, this is very, very important because we are expecting one objective questions on the background for the creation of the part number 4A, which is nothing but insertion of the concept of fundamental duties to the constitution. Then what is the background for the creation of part number 4A, that is article 51A? Then what are the amendments to the constitution? Yes, obviously, without any amendments, no part is inserted into the constitution. So then what are the amendments so far has been taken to the constitution, especially related to the fundamental duties? Then what are the list of fundamental duties? How many duties we have? So whether we have 11 duties or 10 duties or how many duties we have, that we are going to discuss under this one. Then so prevention of insults to the National Honor Act 1971. What is this National Honor Act 1971? Let's say if you insulted national flag, whether it is a crime or you will be imprisoned for how many years, that will be discussed under the prevention of insult to the National Honor Act 1971. Very important, my dear students. The importance of the fundamental duties. Yes, some of the most important cases, Supreme Court used to say that fundamental duties are also one of the basic structure of the constitution. So we'll discuss about what are the importance of the fundamental duties. Then criticism and analysis. Yes, my dear students, there's a lot of confusion and very difficult words and the structure was mentioned in the fundamental duties. For a common man, it is very difficult to understand. So that's why there is a small criticism about the fundamental duties. Then finally, so we are going to do a practice questions, approximately 5 objective questions on fundamental duties and 1 mains questions on fundamental duties. So let us move to the fundamental duties. See, the definition itself is says that duty means it's a moral or legal obligations or the responsibility of the citizens to follow. It's a moral obligation. So what is this moral obligation? There are 2 types of duties for the citizens. The first thing is moral duty and the second is civic duty. That means if you read the fundamental duties of the Indian Constitution, about 11 fundamental duties are there. Out of the 11 fundamental duties are all moral obligations. But there are some fundamental duties the Indian government or Parliament of India has made certain important acts for the protection of those kind of programs like national flag or insult to the national flag, all these kind they have added. So that we are going to discuss. The moral duty, a moral duty is an action required by the morality or the responsibility of a human being. That means how the morality will come because of the religion, because of the parenting, and because of the kinship. And the moral values will be comes out of the human beings. So every human beings has certain moral duties or certain moral values. So the duty is coming out of the moral values of those human beings. Even inspired from the noble ideals of the freedom of struggle. What is the meaning of it? If you look at the national freedom, there's a lot of national leaders out there. Every national leader has a specific ideology. So by them we can inspire certain ideologies where you can get some moral ideals. Then civic duty, respect in the constitution, national flag, national anthem, any act of disrespect, remember my dear students, any act of disrespect towards the national flag, national anthem or the constitution, it is illegal. So how we can say that? Yes, In 1971, the Parliament of India has enacted the Prevention of Insult to the National Honor Act 1971. As per this act, any citizen can be punished. Of Indian citizen can be punished. Now, Indian Constitution adopted the concept of fundamental duties from the Russian Constitution. Very, very important. Obviously, we will expect one objective questions from this one. Because Indian Constitution is also known as borrowed Constitution. It is another name of Indian Constitution, borrowed Constitution. So, the father of Indian Constitution, Dr. B.R. Ambedkar, so taken lot of inputs of different constitutionals of different countries. So he borrowed or maybe copied so many important information from the different countries' constitution and inserted into our constitution. In that, the fundamental duties also one of the important topic which is borrowed from the Russian constitution or USSR constitution. This is very, very important, my dear students. Then the fundamental duties are confined to the Indians only. Remember, my dear points. The foreigners does not have any fundamental duties. Why the foreigners should have these duties? So, but there is an important topic of fundamental rights. Indian Constitution providing certain fundamental rights to the foreigners also. So, the fundamental duties are confined to the Indian citizens only and do not extend to the foreigners, unlike few fundamental rights. That means there are few important fundamental rights even which are available to foreigners also. Example article, if you see that article 21, right to life is available to foreigners also. Article 14, right to equality. So there are certain important provisions which are available to foreigners also. So unlike the fundamental duties. So the fundamental duties are available to only the citizens of India. Right, the next slide, we are going to understand the difference between the fundamental rights and the fundamental duties. Very simple, sir. The fundamental rights. Right is a claim by the citizens which should be granted by the Constitution. So the fundamental rights are defined as the basic human rights of all the citizens. Because without these rights, no human beings will be, overall development should be happened. So materially, mentally, intellectually, these are the basic rights should be provided by the Constitution. So that is why these are fundamental in nature. So kept in the part 3, article 12 to 35 of the Constitution, the fundamental rights are in part 3 and from article 12 to 35. Whereas fundamental duties are defined as the moral obligations of all the citizens, all the citizens to help the promote a spirit of patriotism, very, very important. Increase of brotherhood nature, increase of nationalism, these fundamental duties will help a lot. So, and uphold the unity and integrity of the nation. That is why the concept of fundamental duties are very, very important. So, these duties are arranged in Part 4A of the Constitution, Part A 4A of the Constitution and Article 51 capital A. Very simple, my dear students. Yes, maybe I'll give you a small explanation about it. So, fundamental duties. The first point, the fundamental duties borrowed from Russian Constitution. So, we have borrowed from Russian Constitution. The concept of fundamental duties lies in Part 4A from Article 51A. See, there is small understanding here. Maybe you can check it out. Just let me give you that. Yeah. So, Indian Constitution has 25 parts. Indian Constitution has 25 parts. So, we have 25 parts. Out of 25 parts, so part 1 deal with Union and its territories. Article 1 to 4. So, just one second, I am going to give you another example. So, Indian Constitution has total 25 number of parts. 25 number of parts. So, part 1 deals with Union and its territories. Union and its territories, Article 1 to 4. Then part 2 deals with citizenship. citizenship, Article 5 to 11. Then Part 3 deals with fundamental rights, very, very important. So it is called fundamental rights. So 12 to 35, my dear students. Then Part 4, which nothing but DPSP, Directive Principle of State Policy. This is 36 to 51. So initially, the concept of fundamental duties is not there. Fundamental duties, Article 51A, it is not there, my dear students. It was later added to the Constitution. So that's why I'm going to explain what is the background for the creation or insertion of fundamental duties to the Constitution. So these are the 5 important parts you have to remember, even you have to by heart it also. So now comes to the point. So fundamental rights and duties are arranged in Part 4A. That's what I have written here. So Part 4A, fundamental duties, 11 duties are there. I'm going to give you each and every duty in a very, very systematic order. Just listen to me carefully. Yeah. This is very important point. The fundamental rights are justiciable in nature, whereas fundamental duties are not justiciable in nature. That is fundamental duties. If the state is violating your fundamental duties, then the citizens have the right to approach the Supreme Court. Whereas if the citizens does not follow the fundamental duties, then the state cannot approach the Supreme Court for the enforcement. That is called justiciable and non-justiciable. That is, there is no legal sanction against their violation. Simply speaking, fundamental duties are non-justiciable nature and no one can reach the Supreme Court for the enforcement of the fundamental duties. Then important topic, the background for the creation of part number 4A and article 51A. What is exactly background took place? Yes, my dear students. In 1975 to 1977, this is a period of internal emergency period in India. So from 1975 to 1977, there is an internal emergency period. In the internal emergency period, the government felt that internal emergency means whenever there's an emergency was imposed, there's a lot of conflict took place in India. So the government is always trying to do, the citizen should have certain duties. The government felt that the citizen should have certain duties. So for that, the government appointed Sardar Swaran Singh Committee, very, very important. Because here you can expect some objective questions, my dear students. So the government appointed Sardar Swaran Singh Committee. He is a member of the parliament at the time. By then, the Congress government under the prime ministership of Indira Gandhi. So she is in charge of the government at the time. Under the leadership of Congress, under the leadership of Indira Gandhi, the Congress government appointed an important committee known as Sardar Swaran Singh Committee. So based on the recommendation of the Sardar Swaran Singh Committee, government enacted or amended the constitution. We are going to discuss. So recommended to the fundamental duties to the citizens. So Sardar Swaran Singh Committee recommended approximately 14 fundamental duties. Almost he recommended 14 fundamental duties. And including duty to vote, very, very important. But government finally adopted or considered only 10 fundamental duties. That is Sardar Swaran Singh. You can see the image also. Sardar Swaran Singh recommended 14 types of fundamental duties to the citizens, but the government considered only 10 fundamental duties. So then, after considering those 10 fundamental duties, the government amended the constitution by 42nd Constitutional Amendment Act 1976. Very, very important, my dear students. The 42nd Constitutional Amendment Act is also known as mini constitution of India. Sometimes the political critics says that 42nd Constitutional Amendment seems to be Indira Constitution. What is the meaning of it? There is a lot of changes took place to the constitution through 42nd Constitutional Amendment Act. It's very surprising. So then, The 42nd Constitutional Amendment Act 1976 inserted a new part number 4A from Article 51A. That is part 4A with Article 51A, which includes the 10 fundamental duties. Then see that there is an important date is also there. These fundamental duties came into force on 3rd January 1977. 3rd January 1977, all the fundamental duties came into force. So that is why the 3rd January we are celebrating as a fundamental duties day. 3rd January we are celebrating as fundamental duties day. Very, very important. You should remember this point. Right? Then there are, what are the amendments to the Constitution? Till date, there are 2 amendments took place for the fundamental duties. The first amendment to the Constitution is 42nd Constitutional Amendment Act 1976. By 42nd Amendment Act of the Constitution in 1976, it created a Part 4A and Article 51A, which includes the 10 fundamental duties. That means 10 fundamental duties were added by 42nd Amendment Act. Whereas one more amendment, my dear students, remember, very, very important. So 86th Constitutional Amendment Act 2002, very, very important. There is 11th duty was added by 86th Constitutional Amendment Act. So what is the duty? Initially 10 duties have been taken, and in 2002 one more duty was inserted to the fundamental duties. That is, it is the duty of the every parent or guardian to ensure their child or ward was provided an opportunity for education between the ages of 6 to 14 years. That means every child should be educated. Between 6 to 14 years, every child should be educated. It is the duty of the parents or guardian to provide a facility for ensuring education to the children between the age of 6 to 14 years. What a wonderful amendment to the Constitution. Now you can see, my dear students, there is a lot of difference between life and dignified life. Everyone, human beings, has a life, and every animal has a life. But when a person was educated, enlightened, then the person will enjoy a dignified life. Look at the society. Without education is not something to get a kind of certificate from the institution or universities, not at all. It is one of the criteria of education. But getting a knowledge about some subjects, then the person is going to be enlightened. So my dear students, so the 86th Constitutional Amendment Act 2002 is providing an important fundamental duty for every parents and guardian. So there are 2 amendments. One is 42nd Amendment Act 1976 and second is 86th Amendment Act 2002. I hope guys you have understood. So till right now we have how many fundamental duties? 11 fundamental duties are there. Obviously, in the recent Andhra Pradesh or local examinations, there is a lot of questions are coming in this one. How many fundamental duties are there? So 7, 6, 10, etc. So 11 fundamental duties are there. Then come to the next slide. So I'm going to give you each and every fundamental duty in a simple format. Maybe I'm going to zoom it. You will easily understand what is this fundamental duty. So now 11 fundamental duties I'm going to read for you, and please understand the significance of each and every duty. The first duty is abide by the Indian Constitution and respect its ideals and institutions. That means we, the citizens of India, adopted the Constitution. If you look at read the preamble, we, the people of India, adopted, enacted, and give it to ourselves this Constitution on 26th day of 1949. This is the date of preamble we have mentioned. So November 26, 1949 is also known as an important day called the Constitution Day. That means the citizens of India has adopted the Constitution. So as per the Constitution, there is a lot of institutions have been established. So now it is a duty of every citizen to respect the Constitution. So to abide by the Constitution, bound by the Constitution, and respect the ideals and institution. Let's say Supreme Court of India. It is one of the institutions as per the Constitution. Then whatever order given by the Supreme Court, we should respect and bind by the order given by the Supreme Court. Any institution established by the Constitution, it is a duty of the citizens to follow it. The national flag and national anthem, very, very important, my dear students. National, it is the duty, it's not only the duty, sir, it is completely legal obligation to respect the national flag. In 1971, we have enacted the constitution, we have inserted an important act to the constitution, that is Honor Act of 1971. If somebody is insulting the national flag, then he is going to be imprisoned for more than 3 years, including the fine also. The second one, so we can look at here, there is important information also I have inserted here. Maybe you can just go through the images. This is the constitution. So every citizen should be abide by the Indian constitution. Then second one, cherish and follow the noble ideals. What is the second duty of the citizens? They should respect the noble ideals. Who are noble ideals? That inspire the national struggle for freedom. There are more hundreds of national leaders are there, out of which there are more important national leaders. I can say that Mahatma Gandhi ji, Jawaharlal Nehru, Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel, and moderates and extremists, all the national leaders are there. So you have to respect the ideals of the national leaders who fought in the freedom struggle. Okay, this is the another important duty of the citizen. Third one, to uphold and protect the sovereignty, unity, and integrity of the nation. Sovereignty, India is a sovereign country, so you should accept it. So you have, as a citizen of India, you should give more responsibility to the country and protect the sovereignty, unity, and integrity of India. This is the third duty of the citizens. And fourth one, defend the country and render national service when called upon so. So it is the moral obligation of the citizens whenever country is facing some kind of internal threats or external threats, then you should be ready for national service. For example, the central government has inaugurated the Swachh Bharat scheme. Now it is a duty of every citizen to participate in it. Don't say that it is not my program, and don't say that I'm not going to join it. It is of our country purpose only. So it is the duty of every citizen to render the national service when called upon so. Whenever there is a war, if the government asks to participate and compulsorily participate, then every person should participate in the war. Because it is the time to prove our nationality. Then, so for example, in 1962 war, asked the volunteers for policemen. That means even the government will ask the so many citizens of the country, please participate and please support to the the wars like 1962, 1971 wars. So these are the 4 fundamental duties, sir. We have 11 fundamental duties. And the 5th fundamental duty is very, very important. Promote harmony and the spirit of common brotherhood amongst all the people of India, and transcending the religious, linguistic, and religion or regional, sectional diversities, and renounce the practices derogated to the dignity of women. Yes, my dear students, it is always unethical to practice unethical activities towards the women. So the constitution is also saying that the women is going to be exploited, so then they should be given some respect and the protection also. It is a duty of every citizen to give respect towards the women and renounce the derogatory activities towards the dignity of the women. So whatever activities you are going to practice, if they are against the women, must be stopped. That is, renounce the practices derogated to the dignity of women. Very, very important. And value and preserve the rich heritage of the countries and composite culture. Very, very important. Look at the Taj Mahal here. So Taj Mahal is a historical importance is there. So whenever there is a kind of national and historical important subjects are there, then it is a compulsory duty of the government for the protection it. And also, it is a moral responsibility of the every citizens to give protection to the some historical objectives. Look at the Hyderabad. If you go for Hyderabad Charminar, there's an historical importance is there. But look at the areas of Charminar. Almost like some areas are not suitable for visiting purposes. So, but as a citizen, it is a responsibility of the citizen to give respect and preserve the rich heritage, culture of the country, and to develop the composite culture. We have a diversity of culture, so we should respect the culture of the every religion, and it is an important duty of the citizens of India. And the seventh one, this is very, very important. Seventh one, to protect and improve the natural environment, including forests, lakes, rivers, wildlife, and to have a compassion for living creatures. We should have a minimum compassion, minimum, not minimum, we should have a compassion towards the living creatures, because we have a voice, and whenever we are facing some problems, we used to say something towards the others, but animals cannot ask it. So we should have some compassion towards the creatures, living creatures. And also we should give and improve the natural environment, including the forest, and preserve the lakes and rivers and wildlife. Then eighth duty, develop a scientific temper. Very, very important. Sometimes this is a time you will difficult to understand what is meant by scientific temperament, and what is meant by humanism, and what is the spirit of inquiry and reform. So I said, what is the criticism of fundamental duties? This is the terminology which is very difficult for the common man to understand. Very simple. What is the meaning of scientific temper? Very simple. Asking questions, sir. Rational thinking. So if I am preparing for any competitive exams, why should I read this document, and how it is related to my competitive examination? How it is going to be useful? So this is called rational thinking. What is the previous question papers, and whether the quality of the subject I'm reading it or not? This is all scientific temperaments. That means, simply speaking, that what, why, and how, and when, like this. So you have to ask a number of questions about the subjects. Then what is humanism and the spirit of inquiry and reform? This is this is also the same thing information. And the ninth one, safeguard the public property and abjure violence. So he should give, you should safeguard the public property. So you are not supposed to demolish any public property. So whenever there is a hartal or whenever there is a band, people used to demolish the buses, trains, and all. So it is the duty of the every citizens to safeguard your public property, because public property is nothing but it is our property, because the public property is built by the government because through the taxes only, and the citizens, we are paying the taxes. So whenever you're trying to demolish such kind of public property, it is a loss to the country as well as you also. That is where safeguarding the public property is one of the fundamental duties. And also abjure the violence. Don't go for violence. You are going to be punished it. So if you are not feeling if you are not feeling well or uncomfortable with the provisions of the government and the constitution, approach the judiciary. So the Supreme Court will try to solve so many problems. Then the 10th one, strive towards excellence in all spheres of individual and collective activity for the nation. Very, very important. It is very difficult for a single man to unite the nation and to develop the nation. It is respect, and it is on the shoulders of every individuals of the country towards the development of the country. So collective responsibility is also very important. And 11th ones are very, very important. This is the 11th duty, was added by 86 Amendment Act 2002, as I already said. So that is providing opportunity for education to his child and ward between the age of 6 to 14 years. So clear, my dear students? Now we have discussed about 11 fundamental duties. The first duty, abide by the constitution. Second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, and all. Every duty has some keywords. Try to remember those words. Sometimes in examination, you are expecting some questions about the duties also. And the next slide, which we are talking about, so prevention of insult to the National Honor Act 1971. What is this insult to the National Honor Act 1971? Very simple. As per the National Honor Act 1971, whenever if any person is insulting to